Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Monday, May 19th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. It was 3 weeks ago that we settled above these two significant channel structures. At the time, had converged into a single point. I think it was in the 111 handle. I forgot the exact numbers, of course, but we did close above both. In particular, this descending 4 or 5 month channel top that comes off the January high, closing above that bearish structure was in itself a shift in momentum to the upside, anticipating as a 3 to 5 month objective a retest of the 153.13 January high, and we are well on our way, as you can see. I don't know the exact number, but I would say we're at least halfway there, if not 60-70% of the way to reaching our overall objective. On the way up, as I mentioned, following the settlement above the 105.32 channel top, I had as a 1 to 2 week target the descending 2/3 speed line that this week is at 120.67. And on the heels of the tariff breakthrough talks between China and the U.S., we continued rallying. And it was a settlement above the speed line that threw off a secondary show of strength. You can see it actually right here. This is the tariff breakthrough talks. We gapped higher. That was on Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's right. This was a week ago today that we closed above the speed line on a daily basis that set up, bullish continuation really to this rising channel top. So this is breaking us down into kind of the near term 1 to 2 week time frames. First and foremost, 3 weeks ago, as I started this video a moment ago, was the settlement above this descending channel top on the weekly chart, which we did. And then it was the very following Monday that we also closed above the descending speed line. So we're 2 full weeks into the buy signal, 2 full weeks of trade, I should say. And 140.36 became a 1 to 2 week objective a week ago today when we closed above the 120.36 speed line. 140.36 rising daily. We've yet to actually test it, but this is the objective. So if you went long, if you're a 2 to 3 week swing trader and you went long above this structure, first off, you were expecting the speed line. But as it turns out, and I don't know how you played it or not, but we actually opened right at and then closed above the speed line. You may have taken quick profits here, and you may have also then decided at the end of that day to go long because we had a secondary buy signal that was meaningful following the settlement above the speed line. And then you've got the 1 to 2 week time frame at 140.36. We've yet to reach it. 140.36, able to contain buying through the rest of May. And from here, we can fall back into the low 120s and dropping within 2 to 3 weeks, I think, is the time frame. So the way I see the 2 to 3 week time frame is you are selling 140.36 and then buying back in the low 120s. The low 120s are being converged upon, if you will, by a newly formed rising channel bottom at 111.21. So it really is the selling of the channel top at 140.36. And that would be a short play, of course. That would be a counter trend move. But I'm comfortable with that because this is, after all, a 3 to 5 month buy signal. So there's plenty of time for that to still play out. Yes, we can top out at 140.36 for the rest of May into early June, and from there fall back into this zone of support that is narrowing every day, presently between 111.21 and 120.36. And they come to a single point, May 28th. And so this is a scenario whereby, we don't take out this trend line. This continues to hold 140.36, and we fall back into really what is the 110s. 111.21 rising, 120.36 dropping. And that kind of covers the big picture. Let me finish with the big picture, saying that if we were to close above 140.36 over the next 3 to 5 days, then yes, we should see 153.13. This is a 1 to 2 week play. If we close above 140.36, let me say the first thing is exit a short position you may have established at 140.36, because I see 1 to 2 week rally to 153.13, which is our longer term 3 to 5 month objective anyway, that we will have realized within about a full month of activity. That would be pretty incredible. It is certainly possible with the way things are playing out. So if we continue higher this week, we're expecting to continue higher as we move through July and into August. We're expecting this as a 3 to 5 month target. But if there's one formation that could get in the way of all that on a near-term basis, it's 140.36. If we close above 140.36, no good reason to be short NVIDIA over the next 1 to 2 weeks, as the 153.13 high would be expected as a retest. It's a 3 to 5 month objective anyway. Until then, I'm comfortable short selling the low 140s, 140.36 rising through time in anticipation of bearish rotation over the following 2 to 3 weeks into what is really the 110s, this narrowing zone between 111.21 and 120.36, where profits can be taken on a 2 to 3 week short sale and aggressive pursuit on the buy side. This is an area that can contain selling for more than 2 to 3 weeks. It actually may contain selling, into July, as we could round that up upward and onward to our overall objective at 153.13. Actually, I think our overall objective, following the recent buy signals above both 105.32 and this speed line at 120.67, is this 1-2-year channel top. This goes back to November of 23. So it's like an 18-month channel top and climbing at 171.09. I do think this is in reach by the end of the year, and it would be a settlement above 153.13 in the coming weeks that would clarify this as the next 3 to 5 week objective. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's take a look at the downside right now. And, we've got this gap at 131.21. There are little levels all the way down. I've got 133.46, nothing more than Friday's low. Friday was, by the way, the pullback high following the April low. So it has its own sort of soft pivot point quality. If we break 133.46, I would expect a gap close at 131.21, where we could bounce for the rest of the day. If we close below 131.21, expect 127.72 tomorrow, Tuesday. 127.72 is a level that can contain daily selling pressures. And possibly into later week, through the rest of the week. And I say that because of the longer-term bullish structure that exists right now, once again, above the 105.32 formation and again above the 120.67 speed line. And so, I do think you can buy 127.72. These classic Fibonacci levels tend to work on both sides of the market. I mean, we pushed through it easily on the way up, and we were expecting a violation, but we had this as a session containment level that didn't work out, obviously, and that was on the heels of the buy signal that occurred a week ago today above the 120.36. This was Tuesday of last week. We pushed right through it, but it was the settlement above 127.72 that threw the 3 to 5 day time frame back into the bullish column, expecting 140.36. On the way back down, 127.72 can contain daily selling pressures. And yes, I think because of the overall bullish state of the market, you could play the 3 to 5 day swing trade to the upside. So we're breaking it down into time frames, which I think is the proper way to analyze any market. You've got long-term trends and you've got near-term trends. And near-term trends can be counter to long-term trends. But it is the long-term trends that generally win the day. And right now, I would say the long-term trend remains bullish above this 105.32 channel top and again above 120.67. It is the near-term trend, though, that may challenge that near-term only at 140.36, selling it, allowing for bearish rotation over the following 2 to 3 weeks to this narrowing zone of support between 111.21 and 120.36. And if over the next few days we close below 127.72, I would expect this 120.36 speed line within another 3 to 5 days. Once again, May 28th of this month, 10 days from now, really, they all converge into a single point in the upper 110s, where you can buy the market aggressively into July and round up again. It would be a settlement below this structure that would throw the market back into the bearish column as we move through June, but we're a long way from that right now. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. We offer 2 stock picks every week designed for the 3 to 5 week out to the 3 to 5 month near-term investor. We're always looking for those stocks that we think show a promise of 20% returns, at least on the buy signals we recommend. And you'll also get our daily triple Q and our daily SPY analysis. I don't think you should go through your daily NVIDIA trading unless you've got also the triple Q on your side, because the index itself is so much more widely followed, and NVIDIA is such a big part of it that they do work hand in hand quite well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Tuesday's NVIDIA. You have a great day.